especially in education, many adults want change for our young people, but aren't embodying it themselves. So it is essential, anyone who works at Springhouse, including myself, that we are cultivating personhood, that we are aligned with this design in body, in soul, in community, that we are aligned. We're managing a lot of symptoms, pathologizing them, managing symptoms. Some of us, for whatever reason, wake up and say, maybe I need to change my life. Like the poet Rilke says, you must change your life. Maybe I wake up and I must change my life. And if I do, then I'm going to need a lot of help. And as a culture builder, I and Springhouse want to do everything we can to support that person, teenager or adult, who wants to do that, because we know it's the only way we'll walk toward the vision of living in a world where all life thrives.
Yeah. So, and I guess, just to come back to what we were talking about in the bio that we haven't really mentioned yet, I mean, Springhouse is also a school. So, is there any more you want to say about how, I guess, what is that dance between, so it's a school, but it's oriented still around these principles, yes?
Mm-hmm. So like I said, if we are going to live in a new way, we need to practice. School can be a place. School's just a place that we all go to quote unquote learn. and we can take back what school and education mean. And we have. School to us is a place to practice how to live in a way that takes better care of life and myself, with each other, and with this place that we live. That is school. The purpose of school for us is to learn how to take better care of life, including better understanding the reality that we live within. So I can learn how to take better care of life in this reality. That's the whole reason for Springhouse, for teenagers in our high school, and adults in a 9-month program. So that's really, the school is a place of practice. Education is how we practice. So that's what we're doing over there. And then there's another, responsibility that we're beginning to really feel into now and is developing right now, which is more about sharing the message. So we practice the source design principles. We also want to share the message. And we're really starting to talk about ways we can do that, where we can produce literature and put things out that really support people. I just talked to someone I was mentoring this morning within the community, and they said, God, we were on a 2-week break and I felt lost. I was like watching some videos or whatever, but I felt lost. And that for me is like, we need some things that allow us to share the message and allow the continuity to happen when we're not all together. And I've also had that experience in other programs where there's literature that binds us. And that's really helpful when I can't reach anyone on the phone or there's not a meeting or something to go to. I can grab things off my bookshelf to remind me what it is that I'm doing in a world that has a whole lot of distraction in it. So Springhouse has a school and also will continue to have an arm of it that really is about sharing the message. And ultimately, Springhouse is about, I would say, even more than culture change. I think it's about culture building in a way that takes better care of life.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to include in the notes a link to Springhouse so people can check it out and also see what your offerings are for adults as well. And let's see, to close out, we're going to do a practice that you're sharing with us. Before we do that, is there anything more you want to say about connection at Springhouse? I'm getting a sense of it very strongly just from what you're saying already, with mentoring and it sounds like the youth have mentoring as part of their lives there, and they have community. Anything either just more about how how connections fostered, or anything about like the vulnerability or bravery aspect, because I think sometimes that can be involved, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think, especially in education, many adults want change for our young people, but aren't embodying it themselves. So it is essential, anyone who works at Springhouse, including myself, that we are cultivating personhood, that we are aligned with this design in body, in soul, in community, that we are aligned. So the people at Springhouse are not there to be teachers at a school. That is not what they're there for. They're there to build a world where all life thrives. And so what that means is that they know their personhood is the greatest gift they can offer, whether they're at the school or the grocery store or in their marriage or wherever they are. So their primary focus is to cultivate personhood. They do that in their own ways. There's not a prescription for that. They do that in their own ways, but the commitment is there. And then as a collective of adults who are serving each other, our community and young people included, that we meet every single week for roughly 2 hours to foster that connection with ourselves, with each other, and with our place. That's been happening for years. That's really unusual, unfortunately, but and that's not something that like I said as the executive director that's required. That's what people want. That's what everyone wants, is that time to connect with ourselves and each other. It strengthens the whole thing. There's no way, if we were not aligning with the design, that we would be where we are, because we wouldn't be walking our talk. We would be sharing something that we're not doing, which happens, unfortunately, all the time. So it's really important for me, first, to make sure that I'm aligned with the design, and the staff feel the same way. So it is the source of life that gives me the courage and the bravery and the guidance I need to continue what I'm doing. I would not be who I am without it. And there's nothing I can do without it. That the power of life itself, we forget this all the time, because it's easy to forget. We forget the power and intelligence of life itself, that we actually don't heal ourselves. We don't heal each other, but we don't heal ourselves. And so, we have, our hearts are beating, our lungs are breathing, we eat and we fuel our bodies, but we're not doing anything no direct effort to make that happen. That is a miracle. The fact that we even exist is a miracle, that we were created in the dark. We have ears to hear and I can see you. That's a miracle. Just my eyes. Sometimes I look at my eye and I'm like, what? I can't even find the words. So, and most of our cuts and our bruises heal on their own. A carrot turns into a carrot from a seed in ways that I'll never understand. It's life that ultimately creates, heals, and transforms. And so there are practices, starting with how life moves through me, that I can do to get to know that power and intelligence. I'll never fully know it, but I can get to know it, and then I can actually partner with it to build community, to connect to place and actually learn from place, and to truly love and serve others in a way that my liberation is bound up with. It's not just about a transaction, but it's like we are healing and finding freedom, or it's finding us together. So I think for me, that connection it does. The adults are terribly important in a community as they lead the way.
That's beautiful. I think that's actually a great transition into whatever practice you want to share with us. Just that, like, remembering, which is true. I mean, even in practice, even doing spiritual practices, I'm not always like really aware of that. Just that profoundness of the mystery and power of life.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we can really relax in that
experience in itself, just thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm looking
So,
for
or
a poem
connecting
right
to it.
now.
Doesn't have to.
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
go ahead and share what you would like with us.
Great. Okay, let me do. Okay, here it comes. So one of the things that I do regularly, and we do at Springhouse, the young and the young ones and the older ones, is we share poetry. Poetry brings us back home to ourselves and to each other and to where we are. And so that's the practice I'm going to share. I'll just ask people to, just breathe, maybe remembering that your breath is a miracle. You don't know where it comes from and you don't know where it goes, but you are being breathed in this very moment. Often at night, I'll just rest my hand on my chest and feel my body being breathed. If I wonder what surrender means, the practice I do to remember. This is a poem called It Is I Who Must Begin, and it's by Václav Havel. It is I who must begin. Once I begin, once I try, here and now, right where I am, not excusing myself by saying things would be easier elsewhere, without grand speeches and ostentatious gestures, but all the more persistently, to live in harmony with the voice of being as I understand it within myself. As soon as I begin that, I suddenly discover, to my surprise, that I am neither the only one, nor the first, nor the most important one to have set out upon that road. Whether all is really lost or not depends entirely on whether or not I am lost.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you. Deep bow to you, Sonja. And if people want to know more about Springhouse, you can go to springhouse.org. And if you're really curious about the design, every season we offer a 2-month introduction to really just learn a little bit more about it. Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure.
Thank you.